So in Yes, I've gotten to know about the scheme of wanting to poison Rigathi Gachagua in public rallies and public encounters. We all know that the system doesn't want Rigathi Gachagua to be the deputy president. And it is even more scary when the impeachment motion is not successful. Because if he's not successful, Rigathi Gachagua will bounce back as the president in 2027. There is no doubt that the ranking of Rigathi Gachagua has gone high up after the impeachment motion, because when you read the cases which were preferred against him, you clearly see that they were frivolous. This is like what happened towards the 2022 general election when William Ruto was persecuted, when his assets were published in the national news by the system, and it ended up making him the president of Kenya in 2022. We all know that Rigathi Gachagua is not liked. The system wants to dispose him off for fear of what he would become in 2027. And this impeachment motion was brought about by the system, thinking that it is going to put him down, not knowing that it is making him stronger and stronger. They thought that he was going to resign before the impeachment motion could go through, but he vowed not to resign. Okay? So in this episode, I've come to talk about the scheme which is aimed at poisoning Rigathi Gachagua, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. So Rigathi Gachagua was impeached a few days back, and very many people thought that he was going to put him down, but the defense he put up, even the public sided with him. It was a strategy to first put up his defense in public before he went to parliament, because parliament was engineered to impeach him no matter what. Trust me, even if Rigathi Gachagua put up a defense which was not culpating him towards those cases, the parliament was going to impeach him nevertheless. And I think this is what's going to happen in the Senate, because Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto have numbers. But after the system getting to know that Rigathi Gachagua is not ready to resign and is ready to fight on, and as things unfold, the law is going to be on the side of Gachagua. So there is a scheme of poisoning him by using the public. Okay? One may ask how. There is poison which is normally put in the hands, and if someone shakes your hands, you take away that poison. If you touch your eyes or mouth or nose, you may spend 1 month or so and you die. This is the poison they want to use on Rigathi Gachagua, and he must be very conversant. The reason I'm saying this is that when Gachagua went out to eat, he got a welcome of very many people, and these people love him. But there is a scheme of using that chance by the system so that someone can be planted in that crowd to greet Rigathi Gachagua so that he can go on with that poison. And in fact, I'm not telling Rigathi Gachagua to stop public encounters, but he must be very vigilant, not to touch his eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Before I proceed, let me first play with the tape as people were welcoming Rigathi Gachagua after he had gotten lunch. Here is the tape. I think it is this one. So in that video, you are going to see Rigathi Gachagua meeting the people. But he must be very vigilant, because these are fans, they love him. So the system wants to use his public encounter so that he can bring a person who can poison him. Is the reason I'm saying that he must desist from touching his eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. He must continue his public gathering, but also be more vigilant. Let's continue. that is the gathering which the system wants to use. Okay? So, Rigathi Gachagua, politics is a dirty game. Rigathi Gachagua came with a pure heart. Okay? He was free to everyone, not knowing that these Pentagon leaders have always applied the politics of deceit and hypocrisy. Okay? So, Rigathi Gachagua, as he is doing his public encounters, he must be very vigilant. In fact, even normally Gachagua goes out whenever he goes in a certain area to do some road works. He must be very vigilant. There's a scheme of wanting to use poison, one. So he must not touch his eyes when he's in a public encounters. In fact, before touching his eyes, he must sanitize and wash his hands with a particular detergent which can put off that poison. Two, in a bid to do some road work, there is also a scheme of wanting to shoot him, because if this impeachment motion doesn't go through, Rigathi Gachagua is going to be a front runner, and he threatens the status quo. Okay? So, the life of Rigathi Gachagua is on the ladder. The system wants to eliminate him. The system wanted to first apply this impeachment motion, but they are encountering, okay, legal issues. By the look of things, Rigathi Gachagua is winning. Trust me, if his defense is put against the charges which were preferred against him, they don't amount to gross misconduct. Because gross misconduct is so big that such cases, some which don't hold water, cannot lead to a deputy president of the nation who was elected by 2.2 or by 7.2 million votes to be removed from office. So the system first wants to use legal issues. If it fails, it's going to use poison and to a bigger extent shooting him when he's doing his road work. So if Rigathi Gachagua is seeing this video, or even his handlers, they must know. Okay? They must know this. In fact, if you want to know how that video was recorded, he had gone to have some lunch, I think, in a certain restaurant with Mama, with Bishop Dorcas. Here is the tape. So you clearly see that Gachagua is a man of the people, but he must desist. He must be very careful, because politics is a dirty game. Politics is played by the dirty, and it will be very unfortunate. Very many people, the reason as to why Gachagua was attacked, as very many leaders across all regions call for their unity. When you go to the coastal leaders call for their unity. When you go to Western, Mudavadi and Ntangula call for their unity. When you go to Kisii and everywhere, they call for their unity. But when it comes to Gachagua, when he calls for unity, they call it tribal. Because they know the moment the Mountain Kenya unites, any person who gets the votes of Mountain Kenya, okay, has one foot in the State House. So that's why they are scared. That's why they fight. Okay? So Rigathi Gachagua must be very vigilant. Of course, that's my opinion. Do make comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is the first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.